I've shared with you before that the space program more or less passed me by, creating little interest in it or knowledge about it in my childhood and teenage mind. But I'm married to someone who was captivated by the space program, partially because she had an uncle who worked at Cape Canaveral, and her family saw several launches in person. So we watched Sunday afternoon as the SpaceX Dragon returned to Earth in the Gulf of Mexico, the first water landing in our country since 1975. What captivated me was the parachutes. 4 of them deployed perfectly, slowly and majestically bringing the spacecraft to the surface of the water, where it hit, an announcer said, with the mere force of a fender bender. As soon as the spacecraft splashed down, the parachutes no longer faced the resistance of wind, and they began to lose shape and fold and collapse as they neared the water. I thought they were beautiful. They twisted and turned, not in sync, but almost as ballerinas against the backdrop of sky. Not so much losing shape as being transformed into their own individuality. It was as if their work was done and they were free to dance, to play, to rest, to float. I know that parents of children of all ages are in a bind these days. A few weeks home from school in the spring turned into the remainder of the school year. Summer followed with only a change of heat index rather than scenery. Hopes of abatement of the coronavirus filled the air for a few weeks, but underneath the concern lingered and proved to be true that things weren't much better on the health front. And gradually preschools, school systems, colleges, and universities have announced the inevitable, that most education will be online this fall, essentially until further notice. By the time the news came last week, it wasn't much of a surprise, but still a panic, a scramble, a heading for the hills, literally as some families have returned home to less urban areas to hunker down and homeschool, while one or both parents work online, while others try to figure out how to make everything work here in the metropolitan area. And family pets can still not figure out why everyone is at home all day, giving them so much attention. When I saw these parachutes, I thought of parents of infants, and even parents of older children who never stop doing all they can do to give their children of any age a safe and secure landing. Whatever parents are deciding in these next few weeks, their aim is uniform: a safe and secure landing for their children, so another quest can follow in due time. When smooth landings happen, parents dance like ballerinas against the backdrop of a bright blue sky. It is a well-deserved dance, a dance for joy. And if I had to rank the importance of dances in a world so interested in rankings, there's probably no more important ranking than providing a safe landing for our children, and therefore no more joyful dance than the dance that follows such a landing. In one of my favorite passages from the Old Testament, God speaks to Hosea in chapter 11, comparing God's own self to a parent. When Israel was a child, I loved him. It was I who taught Ephraim to walk. I took them in my arms. I led them with cords of human kindness, with bands of love. I was to them like those who lift infants to their cheeks. I bent down to them and fed them. A safe landing for our children, a joyful dance for parents. May that be our prayer for all parents and all children today. Parents who are privileged, parents who are not. A safe landing for children this week, this month, this fall, this school year, as long as it needs to be. Amen.